Hey everybody. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down what I'm investing in to achieve financial freedom. This is going to be a step-by-step guide, the accounts I use, the actual investments I'm putting my money into, and the strategy I use for those accounts. The reason I wanted to make this video tonight is I really wanted to help others think through their plan, or possibly help someone create their first plan, and just a guide and my personal advice on how to stick to those goals. So feel free to stay tuned, and we're going to jump right into my personal goal. I'd say financial freedom means to me that I can wake up one day and decide I have enough money in my bank, I have enough money in my investment accounts, I don't want to go to work today. I'm going to call out and I'm going to quit right there. Now, obviously, I wouldn't do that because I feel that'd be a dick move, just kind of up and quitting one day. But just to have that ability, to have that mentality where, hey, if I wake up one day and I just don't want to go to work, I'm done working, I want to play golf 5 days a week, I want the ability to do that. Financial freedom ultimately leads to freedom of time. I think the two really go hand in hand. If you have the ability to quit when you want because you have enough funds available, chances are you've also unlocked the freedom of time. If you want to play golf 5 days a week for the rest of your life, you have the money, which equals you have the time to do so because you don't have to work. You're not tied down to a job. My ballpark number, I've thought about it. I've played with some investment calculators over time, and I'm looking on the rate I'm investing and the amount of time I'm investing in, and I plan on to retire, or I guess officially decide, I can be done working. I'm looking at around 2 to 3 million by the age of 60. And this is just strictly in my retirement accounts, my 401ks, my Roth IRA, my brokerage account. This is strictly just in those accounts. Obviously, I'm going to hopefully plan on investing in other avenues, whether that be like real estate or a business idea, et cetera, et cetera. So the 2 to 3 million is not going to be my only amount of money I have, but for the means of this video, that's the goal I plan on achieving in my investment accounts. And then with that, the lifestyle I'm aiming for, it really just depends. Right now I live pretty frugally. I don't go on many vacations. I don't really buy myself fancy toys or look for the brand new clothes, the brand new car, pretty much the brand new popular thing out. So I feel while I will try to force myself to enjoy that money, especially when I get older, because as you're getting older, you realize you're only getting older. You're not going to be able to take that money with you. So, you're probably going to splurge a little bit more. You're probably going to go on vacations a little more. You're going to spend more time with the family, spend money with the family. So overall, I think I'll still live pretty frugally. I'm not just going to go spend crazy. I'll probably always kind of keep an eye on my money, but I'll just learn to, use it a little more because like I said, at the end of the day, you can't take anything with you. So that kind of jumps us into the section 2. Accounts I use. So I've mentioned this in previous videos, but for the newcomers, Fidelity is my investment service company of choice. I know many people use Vanguard, or they may use Charles Schwab, Acorn, something like that. I'm not too familiar with many other options out there, but Fidelity is my main investment company. The accounts I have in my Fidelity account: a Roth IRA, which is a staple for investing, my previous employer's 401k, my current employer's 401k, just a traditional brokerage account, and I actually have a high yield savings account through CIT Bank. That's completely separate from Fidelity, but I thought I would just lay out the multiple accounts that I do have. Jumping into section 3, I'm going to be breaking down the actual investments I have in those accounts. So kind of tying to my main investment company, Fidelity. I mostly invest in index funds, guys. I feel those are the safest funds to invest into, especially if you're planning for your future. You're not looking to make a quick buck or to like a hype stock. Pretty much what the index fund covers is it usually just covers a set amount of stocks. Usually the ones that I have, it's actually called ticker symbol FXKAX. That is Fidelity's total market index fund. That pretty much just includes, I think it's either 1,000 or 2,000 stocks or 2,000 companies. And with that, it's just a huge range, a huge diversity of different accounts, of different stocks, different companies. And I also have FXAIX. This is Fidelity's 500 index fund. And pretty much what this account, what this fund strictly covers is it follows the S&P 500. So that's the top 500 stocks. This is probably your safest bet when it comes to just investing for the long term. You can stick to the S&P 500 or the overall market index fund. I feel they're both very good. You can choose your main one, or you can dabble in both. Ultimately, I think if you pick the FXAIX, it'll probably include some of the stocks or some of the companies from the different ticker symbols. So I think they both go hand in hand. And I also have a little bit in Charles Schwab's dividend index fund. Kind of similar thing. They have similar companies in the funds. They're all pretty similar in that regard, but with the Schwab one, it actually tries to focus more on companies that offer good dividends, and that's pretty much where you get paid every quarter. You get a little bit of change back from owning those stocks. So it's a nice index fund if you want to receive a higher, if you want to call it a higher passive income on your investments, because like I said, those funds typically have companies in there that just offer a higher dividend. I do have a few individual stocks. I typically don't invest a huge amount into these because that kind of comes with day trading, and it makes me personally want to stare at the market every day. And with that, I feel I'm starting to get into day trading. I'm not really looking into the set it and forget it mentality, which could kind of drive you crazy if you have a lot of individual stocks and you're looking to kind of turn a profit every day or every other day. You're going to be really watching those stocks and reading up on the news or reading up on their annual meetings where they kind of discuss how the company's doing overall. So I try to stay away from individual stocks, but I do have a few just to kind of play around with. I put a couple thousand in there just to experience, just to dabble a little bit. Crypto, I don't have any crypto. I will say the reason why is I'm not very knowledgeable on it, and I'm a little weary on the whole idea of crypto. Maybe, that weariness comes from me not having a lot of knowledge on it, but as of right now, I don't have any in crypto. I know crypto's kind of blowing up right now. It's definitely at its, I don't know if it's all-time high or close to its all-time high. So whoever's in crypto right now, I mean, obviously, you're probably doing something right. Maybe I got to hop on that train. Section 4 is covering my overall strategy with those accounts, with my Fidelity account, and then with the different types of investment accounts within my main Fidelity account. I always dollar cost average, and I recommend everybody does the same. Whether the stock market is booming, we're in a bull market, or it's pretty rough and we're in a bear market. Prices are down, stocks are down. Dollar cost averaging means hey, when you started out, if you invested $500 a month into your investment accounts, whether the market's booming or whether it's on a decline, you're going to continue to put that $500 in. If you think about it, many people are scared to invest when the stock prices are down. They're nervous. Oh, hey, we're in a crash, I'm going to lose money. Guys, you don't lose your money. You don't lose any money until you ultimately sell. Always keep that in mind. It definitely helps in those situations where you're a little nervous of putting more money in. And you got to think, when we're in a crash or we're in a decline, stock prices are lower, so you can get more bang for your buck. So when the market's booming, you're not going to get as much stock value as if you were to buy when we're in a bear market, when the prices are declined. So when you consider that, you think, hey, this $500 is going a lot farther when we're in a decline than when we're in a bull market. So keep that in mind, guys, when it comes to dollar cost averaging every month. At the end of the day, a lot of these funds, they may sound boring to you, but at the end of the day, boring and consistent equals long-term success. I think many people preach this, index funds, they're boring. You're not following the hype. You're not following the popular trend out there. I don't really want to, when it comes to my future, when it comes to retiring with that set amount, that set goal in mind, I'm investing in boring and consistent things that will, over time, increase in value, make me more money, and leave me more money in my investment account when it's time to retire. So kind of jumping back on that, I really avoid the hype or trendy stocks. When GameStop, when people were kind of just buying GameStop and it was going crazy, I don't think I was really investing heavily back then. Maybe if I was, I may have dabbled in it, kind of regarding my individual stocks investing. Maybe I would have, put a couple $100 in and, see where it would gone. Hindsight's 2020. I mean, if I put a couple $100 in, I probably would have made a decent amount of money back. But, like I said, you really can't dwell on the past there, and you just kind of keep moving forward. And then, as always, guys, I'm going to keep preaching this in every video. Time in the market will always beat timing the market. So if you can put a couple $100 in, or maybe you can't put that much in, maybe you can put $50 or $100 a month in the market now, it's better to do that now than wait until, your mortgage is paid off, or your car payment is paid off, or you start to make more money, you get a new job, and then you start investing. Start now, and then when you do get that promotion, when you do pay off the car and you're able to put more money in, that's a double whammy. Why wait? Let the compounding interest, start taking effect. Let it start tackling that money, and let it start working for you before you ultimately feel that you think you're ready. And then I wanted to cover panic and maybe like panic selling. Guys, the market goes up and it goes down. It's yin and yang. So with that said, when the market goes down, don't panic sell. When you panic sell, the market goes down, the stock prices go down. People like myself, we look at that like, wow, everybody's selling, prices are down. I'm going to buy more. That $500 that would have only got me, let's just say, for example, 3 stocks when the market was booming. Now that it's crashing, I can get 3.5 stocks, or I can get 4 stocks. I have gotten that additional stock with that dollar cost average of $500 I put in every month. When the market goes back up, which it inevitably will, I'm going to make more money. You're going to lose money. So don't panic, guys. If the market goes down, don't panic sell. Trust me on that one. If you don't, do your research on, the yearly or the decades of just annual rate of return, it'll ease your nerves a little bit. As you see, annual rate of return has been like 8 to 12% for decades. So video ended in the background. No more Clash of Clans gameplay, guys. I'm gonna wrap this up. I don't do anything flashy, guys, but it works for me, and it has worked for many people in the past. Many people have followed this strategy and became millionaires when it's time to retire. And as always, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing my own game plan. Copied a little bit of it from people who have made it in the past. So don't take my word for it to 100%, guys. Do your own research, build your own system that works for you. If you truly, want to just do individual stocks, you don't trust the index funds, go for it. I don't recommend it, but like I said, do your own research on it, build a system that works for you. So I'm ending it here, guys. As always, everybody, thank you for listening to me ramble. If this video helped you at all, please give it a like, comment. I love interacting with you guys in the comment section, and, feel free to drop me a subscribe. Feel free to check out my other videos, guys. I discuss all sorts of topics ranging from money, life topics, life advice, what I've learned in my 26 years of being on this earth, almost 27, a little scary there. And overall freedom, financial freedom, freedom with my money, freedom with time. I'm sure, if you navigate my profile a little bit, you may find something that clicks with you. So as always, guys, till next time, the lunch table out.